We spend so much of our lives rushing, scrolling, and reacting that we forget what it feels like to simply be, to stand still, to listen, to breathe without an agenda. In today's episode, we're talking about something deeply simple yet incredibly powerful, the kind of self care that doesn't come in bottles, in books, or spa days. It's found in nature, silence, and the spaces that inspire you back into yourself. Healing doesn't mean doing more, it means coming home to stillness, to beauty, and to you. We often say we want peace, but we fill every empty moment with noise. We chase productivity like it's proof of our worth. Emails, deadlines, constant updates, sales, and meetings, all in the name of getting ahead. But here's the truth no one tells us. When every moment is packed, there's no space left for perspective. That's why stepping away from the hustle isn't laziness. It's maintenance. It's the reset button your mind and body quietly beg for. So let's start there. Hi everyone. Stay with me, Marie Chrysostomo, as I share why we actually need to step away from the constant rush and why stillness feels foreign yet is so necessary. Because once we understand that, we can finally see that rest isn't the opposite of progress, it's part of it. Silence is rare. From the moment we wake up, there's a screen waiting for us, notifications, reminders, endless feeds. Even when we say we're resting, we're usually scrolling. Our minds never get the memo that it's time to stop. We've built a world where being busy feels like being alive. But here's a catch. The more stimulation we take in, the duller our self-awareness becomes. We stop hearing our own thoughts. Our emotions blur into background noise. We confuse constant activity with real progress. That's where nature or any quiet, inspiring space comes in. Stepping away from screens, from traffic, from everyone else's noise isn't just about escape. It's about resetting your inner frequency. Think of it like this. When your phone lags, you restart it. When your mind feels cluttered, silence is that restart button. And it's in that silence and that stillness that clarity finally catches up to you. There's a quote I love that says, "Silence isn't empty, it's full of answers." When you walk among trees or sit by the sea or even spend 5 minutes with no sound but your breath, you start hearing yourself again. And maybe, just maybe, that's where real direction begins. Once you've taken that pause, that sacred silence, something beautiful happens next. You start noticing. The world around you stops feeling like background noise and starts becoming a mirror. Step into a park, a beach, a garden, or a mountain trail, and suddenly everything seems to be teaching you something. Like the trees remind us about patience. They grow quietly, never rushing, yet they reach the sky. The mountains, they teach resilience. They face storms head on, but they stand tall through time. And rivers, they remind us about flow. How sometimes the easiest path is the one that bends, not breaks. But it's not just the silence and just for poetry. Scientific studies show that time in nature lowers cortisol levels, the stress hormone. It improves focus, boosts creativity, and gives our nervous system the signal to breathe again. In short, nature doesn't just refresh us, it recalibrates us. And maybe that's why when we're surrounded by green or blue, trees or oceans, we finally sync with something deeper. Our breath slows, our thoughts settle. We remember what it feels like to simply be. Because being in nature isn't just about observing life, it's about remembering that we're part of it. And maybe after listening to all this, you're thinking, wow, that sounds amazing, but I can't just pack up and go to the mountains. And you're right, most of us can't. I can't. I rarely do. We've got jobs, responsibilities, families, and cities that don't exactly come with birdsong or ocean breeze. But here's the thing, you don't have to escape nature to feel its calm. You can invite it in. Start small. Create a corner. Not big, not fancy, just yours. Something you can pause without noise chasing you. Maybe it's a chair by the window, a tiny desk with a plant, or a cozy nook with a soft light and your favorite scent in the air. Bring it what soothes you like a little greenery. Even one plant shifts the energy of a space. You could have a warm, gentle light to remind your mind that it's time to rest. You could also listen to sounds of nature on YouTube or Spotify, like the rustling of leaves, the pitter patter of rain, or the sound of waves crashing softly against the shore. You can use those because they ground you even while you're indoors. And if your phone is your biggest source of noise, try putting it on Do Not Disturb mode, the way you should when it's your bedtime. This pause doesn't have to be forever, but at least spend a few minutes without scrolling. Give your mind a break from reacting and let it return to simply being, to silence. Because at the end of the day, it's not about where you are, it's about how present you allow yourself to be. So, whether you're surrounded by pine trees or apartment walls, peace isn't out there somewhere, it's a space you create moment by moment, breath by breath. You know, the more we talk about creating calm, finding stillness, and stepping away, it starts to become clear that these quiet spaces aren't just places to rest. They're mirrors, teachers, gentle reminders of who we really are when the noise fades. Because presence, that simple act of being where you are, isn't only the beginning. Let me rephrase that. It's only the beginning. Once you become truly present, something beautiful happens next. Purpose begins to whisper. Think about it. When was the last time you had a thought so clear, an idea so alive that it only came to you when you finally slowed down? That's when these moments in nature or in your life, your corner of peace, really do. They don't just relax us, they reconnect us. When you walk through a park or sit quietly near a window, you start noticing things. In that quiet observation, you start noticing yourself too. How you react, what you long for, what still hurts, what's still healing. And that's where presence turns into purpose. Because every pause deepens reflection. Every still moment gives space for creativity to rise again. And every bit of silence grows your emotional intelligence. You know, it's that deeper awareness of how you move through the world and how the world moves through you. So try this. Take your next quiet moment and turn it into a ritual. Bring a journal. Go for a listening walk or just breathe and let your thoughts settle like dust after a storm. You don't need to fix anything, just notice. And before this day ends, try it. Step outside, even for 5 minutes. Look up, breathe, listen. You might just find a piece of yourself quietly waiting, you know. So thank you for spending these few quiet minutes with me today. If there's one thing I hope you take away, it's this. The world moves fast, but you don't always have to. Find your own rhythm again. Whether it's through nature, a quiet corner, or a 5-minute pause. Remember, peace isn't found in the distance, it's cultivated in presence. So if this episode helped you slow down or see something differently, share it with someone who might need a little calm today. So until next time, take care. Keep listening not just to the world around you, but to yourself.